Hello world, I am Pushpak. Welcome to my channel. Today we will actually start learning Python programming language. I will be covering topics called as variables and operators, and then we will close off with taking input from user. Today we will build some working code. Also, I have created some exercises for you. Check it out in the video description. I will explain how to use those exercises at the end of the video. So keep watching. Before we jump into today's topic, you must have heard a thing called as syntax thrown around by your programming friends. Ever wonder what it is? You see, thing is, computer language like Python is nothing but a language that a computer can understand. It is very much comparable to languages we humans speak day to day. So, think of a syntax like grammatical rules of computer languages. Just like the language we humans speak. Take English for example. English has some grammatical rules that we have to follow to convey our meaning. If I want to introduce myself, I will say, "Hello, I am Pushpak," and you will understand my meaning. But if I said, "Am I hello Pushpak?" Now what do you understand? The sentence suddenly doesn't make any sense, does it? Although humans are pretty smart, even if the sentence is something like, "Hello Pushpak, I am," we can still figure out what someone is trying to say. But computers are not so forgiving. If you write print function like this instead of the correct way, Python will throw a big fat syntax error. We all have a friend whom we call grammar Nazi. This person does not like spelling and grammatical mistakes at all and will correct you every chance he gets. When it comes to programming languages, computer is the biggest grammar Nazi you will ever see. Unlike your friend, computer won't even correct you. It will just tell you that you have made a mistake. That's it. Now you have to figure out where you went wrong. Computers sound stupid now, aren't they? Coming back to our topic, grammatical rules of a programming languages are called syntax, which we must follow while writing our code. You can define syntax as a well-defined format which you have to follow to write code. Otherwise, the code throws an error and don't work at all. Now that you have a clear understanding of syntax, let's go to our today's topic. Variables in programming are this kind of boxes in which you can store anything. It can be a number or a letter or even an entire essay. They are just like eggs from your math class. You used to shuffle it around in different equations to reach your solution. Remember, variable here are also the same thing. Defining a variable is easy, but first let's create a file for today's lesson. Right click, new text document, and I will call it operations.py and double click to open it. Now to create a variable, you will have to type a name of your variable. I will name it number A and then we put an is equal to sign in front of it. Now you have to specify whatever you want to store inside of it. For now, let's store 45 in our variable. This process is called as variable declaration in programming literature. Now, to print the value of number A on the screen, we will give our variable to print function without the double quotation mark, which is the syntax for printing variables. Save this file, launch PowerShell. Then run our program by typing python operations.py and you can see 45 printed on the screen. Also, to print variable, we do not use double quotation mark. If I put double quotation mark here, save it and run it, it just print number A, which is not what we want. We are interested in this 45, which is the value of the variable, not the name. Keep that in mind. Also, do not forget to save your changes before running the program. See this asterisk up here, it indicates that the file is not saved. I have seen many beginners do this. They make some changes and then forget to save them, and then they scratch their head wondering why program is not working. So point is, always save your program before running it. You can use keyboard shortcut Ctrl+S to do it quickly. Anyway, I am going to do it that way without specifically mentioning. Coming back to our code, when you write this line, one thing to keep in mind is this is equal to is not the same as equal to we use in math. This one is called as assignment operator. It assigns whatever it is to the right side to whatever it is to the left side. It flows backwards. Now, what exactly do I mean when I say assign? Well, When Python sees this line, it basically allocates some pre-memory to store the value. This allocated memory is located at a specific location in your computer's RAM, and these locations are represented by a very long numeric value and they are hard to remember. Also, each new variable you declare will have a different location, so we give them a tag to easily keep track of them. These tags are nothing but variable names. Although name of the variable can be anything, but while giving your variable a name, you must follow certain syntax rules, which are: first, a variable name only allows letters, numbers and underscores. You cannot use any other characters while naming a variable. Not even space is allowed. You should use underscore instead of space. Make this into a habit even while naming folders and files related to programming. You will thank me later. Second, you can start a variable name with capital or small letters and underscore, but not a digit. Although starting with underscore is allowed, you should avoid this at all cost, because some of Python's internal system variables start with underscore. If you start a variable with underscore, there might be some conflicts and you might run into some unexpected error. So best avoid it. Third, variable names are case sensitive. That is, small xyz is not the same as all capital XYZ or this. They will be considered as completely different variables. Fourth, it cannot be a keyword. Keywords are some reserved word that have been already used by Python to do some specific task. For example, if, else, is, then, try, etc. If you use any of these keywords as a variable name, Python will give you an error. Check out description for complete list of keywords. One last thing, Python do not understand literal meaning of these variable names, and it do not care what variable name mean in human language. These variable names are purely for reference purposes. So don't expect Python to understand concept of time just because you named a variable as hours. Moving on to the next topic, which is operators. Operators are basically symbols that do a certain thing, like plus sign, which is an addition operator. If used, it adds two numbers. If we write c is equal to 3 plus 4, then addition operator will add 3 and 4 together and store the result 7 into the variable c. Now, if we print c and run the code, we get 7 printed on the screen. The operators perform operation on the variable. That is why they are called operators. There are different types of operator, one of which is arithmetic operators. They perform arithmetic operations on numbers. Addition operator is one of them. The others are plus for addition, minus for subtraction, asterisk for multiplication, slash for division, percentage symbol for modulus, double slash for floor division, and double asterisk for power product. The first three are pretty much self-explanatory. The later three, however, need some explaining. So modulus give you the remainder left after the division, and double slash, this floor division, will give you the quotient of the division. Results of both of these operators are whole numbers, that is no decimals. Let's try them all. First, I will get rid of all this. Then we will create two variables which will be num_a 5 and num_b 2. Then we will use every of the above operator. Since we already used addition, let's use subtraction and print statement together. Answer equal to num_a minus num_b, and then print in bracket answer. As we discussed earlier, you can see on the left on this line is num_a minus num_b. What Python do is subtract num_b, which is 2, from num_a, which is 5. Now 5 minus 2, which is 3, is calculated by computer thanks to subtraction operator, and the result 3, which is also called as return value, is stored into variable thanks to assignment operator. Now our variable answer is currently storing 3 inside it, and we pass it to print function. Let's run the code, and there it is, our answer 3 printed on the screen. Moving on, let's do multiplication now. we just need to use multiplication instead of subtraction operator. So I will go ahead and quickly do that. Now, since we are storing the result, which is 5 multiplied by 2, 10, into the same variable we used before, previously this answer variable had 3 stored in it. But since we now use the same variable to store the multiplication, that all 3 will now be replaced by 10. Let's quickly print this out, save the code and run it. And you can see 10 printed on the screen. But wait a second, you might be wondering, if value of variable answer is replaced, then how its previous value 3 got printed? Very good question. It is because Python run your program line by line. So previously when answer had 3 in it on this line, we printed that on the next line here. And now on this line we are replacing answer with 10, and since we already printed the previous value, it shows up in the output. Although it is printed, you cannot use that into the program because it is replaced, and anywhere you use this answer variable below this line will have the new value, which is 10. If you don't want to replace that old value, you can use different variable name like this. But here I want to keep it simple and going to use the same variable. If you want to store the result in different variable, then go ahead, you can do that. Moving on, let's quickly do the same for the division and print it. It should give us 2.5. And there it is. Again, here we replaced value of the variable and everything I explained before applies here too. Now, if you are wondering why I am using the same variable, you are asking the right questions. However, why don't you figure it out yourself? It is not too hard. Go on, give your googling brain cells some workout. I will give you a hint. It has something to do with RAM. Coming back to our topic, I will go ahead and repeat the same for all the remaining operators. To explain what these other 3 operators do, let's do some division. Num_b, which is 5, and num_a, which is 2. 2 by 2 is 4, subtracting 4 from 5, that is 1. Now, this remainder 1 is the modulus, and this 2 is the quotient. And finally, this power product, which is basically 5 raised to 2, 25. Let's run this and verify everything is correct. And everything seemed to be correct, but there's one issue. Looking here, you cannot tell which is subtraction or which is division. To fix this, let's go to our code. Before we do that, let me go ahead and quickly add addition to look like others. Now, to fix our issue, we will modify this print function. Actually, you can print more than one thing in the single line. For doing that, look at this line, which is printing the result of addition, and we can change it to in double quotation addition is, and then we will use comma to separate them. Save this and run the program. See, now it is showing output just like we wanted. The thing about the print function is you can specify more than one item to print and then separate them with the comma, and they all get printed on the line. For example, if you write it like this, save it and run it. See, it printed exactly that. Go ahead, play with it. I am going to keep this simple. You can do it however you like. So I am going to do this with every other print. This look much clean. Save the script and run it. It look much more readable here too. There are some other operators like comparison operators, logical operators, and bitwise operator. I will explain them in brief in this video. Then we will get into more detail when we will actually use them. If you want to try and experiment with them, check out the description. There you will find a PDF for entire list of operators, and I will actually encourage you to try them out and experiment with them. So As the name tells, comparison operator compare two numbers and return true or false depending upon the condition. This includes operators like greater than, smaller than, and that sort of thing. Logical operators perform logical operations like and, or, and not. We will explore more about this when we will learn about conditional statement, which will be, I think, fourth video in the series. Now, let me show you how to take input from user. For that, let's create a new Python file. Rename it. I will call it user underscore input.py. Double click to open it. I will make a variable. My name is equal to pushpuck and I am going to print it out. So print welcome to programming, comma my name. Quickly save it and run it. And output is correct. Now what I want to do is ask the user for name and then that name will be printed inside the message. So I am going to clear this and use a new function called input. So input open bracket inside double quotation mark. You can put any message here. I will write tell us your name. Save the code, come back to PowerShell and run the code. You can see the message printed on the screen and you can also see a blinking bar like this. You can type your name here. I will type Shubham and press enter. There it is. Welcome to programming Shubham. Just like how we wanted. How this input function work is take a message from code space, show this message to the user and ask for some input. User then types something, then input take whatever it is and return that into the code space. Then this user input gets stored into a variable thanks to assignment operator. Then you can do whatever you want with this variable in the code. The variable can be used just like any other variable. So you might be thinking, wait a minute, what if I take this input function and use it into our operations.py script for num a and num b? Then we can ask user to put their numbers for all the arithmetic operations. Nice idea. Let's do that. So I will delete this py and 2, put input enter first number and input enter second number. Quickly save this and run it. Enter first number, okay, 23. Enter second number, okay, let's put 5 and enter. Whoa, what happened here? We got an error. It seems addition did not give us an error, but answer is not correct either. Also, it seems subtraction did not work and giving an error. You can read the error message. It says type error unsupported operand types for str and str. Why is it not working? Why addition is not correct? Well, it is happening because of a concept called as data types, which we will explore in the next video. That's it for today. I prepared a quiz for you. Link is in the description. So make sure you check it out. Use that quiz to check your understanding. Try to answer correctly as much question as you can. I think you should answer at least 70% correctly before moving on to the next topic. Also, some of the questions are quite tricky and intuitive. They will challenge your thinking. All the best. Welcome to Extra Bits, where I give you some extra insight related with today's video context. One of the best thing about Python is its shortcut. In our operations.py program, rather than calculating answer and storing them in a variable and then printing that variable, we can skip the middle step. Just put the calculation directly into the print function like this. Here, calculation will be carried out and answer will be directly passed into the print function. Let's do that for every other operation and delete all the answer variables. Save it and run it. The results are exactly the same. Like it? Keep an eye on extra bits for more shortcuts. Also, you can actually view the memory location where the variable is stored. So, if I want to print the location of this my name variable, I will use print function and inside I will put another function which is id and inside I will pass the variable name. And yes, I used Python shortcut here too. You can even use entire function directly like this. Save it and run it. There the memory location. You see, it's big. Thank God we have variable names. If you love the video, a like will be super appreciated, and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. And hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future update. Also, if you have some question or doubt, feel free to comment it down. See you in the next video.